I'm closely monitoring 3 areas of disturbed weather. Which of those could develop tropically and which will bring some heavy rain? Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi friends, Rusty back here at Meteo Mundo. Great to see you on a Thursday. Hope you're doing well. Coming up in this video, we've got 3 areas of interest here to discuss. All of them going to bring a little bit of something different to different parts of our area. So we'll move into that. We'll take a look, of course, at the 5-day forecast and the rain chances across our entire area. As we get started in this video, as always, love to hear from you. If you have a minute to drop in the comments section below where you're viewing from, what the weather has been like. And of course, if you have a specific question about the forecast, drop that in the comments section below. Happy to help you out. So we'll get started with the area that we discussed yesterday, and that's the area in yellow from the Hurricane Center. More than likely, this is not going to develop tropically, okay? We've seen some good downpours from time to time. We had some pretty heavy rain in portions of Florida and the northern Bahamas a little bit earlier for today. You can see there's a buoy out there reporting some wind gusts in the 35-mile-an-hour range from time to time. Some of the storms that have tried to work their way back into Florida at the hour have actually been fading away. And so really the trend has this for then to lose a little punch here on this Thursday afternoon. We'll take a look at the radar data for us here, slap that on, take off the satellite data, and you'll get an idea again of some of the storms trying to move back into the east coast of Florida have kind of petered out here a bit. Now earlier in the morning we had some heftier storms over the northwest Bahamas, actually prompted some severe thunderstorm warnings. Again, for right now, all is relatively quiet. That being said, a few of the storms off the east coast of Florida are trying to march back off towards the east right now. So places like Bimini and the western sides of Grand Bahama and Andros, a little bit closer to the action, and these storms could try and hold together into the early evening hours. So, you know, again, it's Abaco and New Providence, a few showers near Nassau a little bit earlier, on over towards Eleuthera here. And when I expand the radar out just even a little bit more off to the south, you get that idea. I mentioned it in yesterday's video. Farther northwest of the Bahamas, more concentration for showers and storms. Now, we've had at least a few showers and storms in the central and the southeast Bahamas, even down towards the Turks of the Caicos, but again, not very concentrated there. So there's very little chance that this is actually going to develop into anything tropically. We'll switch over to the satellite data, and we did lose our lightning data right at the very end here. So there's more lightning at the end. But again, you can see that. And those are flare-up of storms here. This is where the actual broad disturbance is. You can see the counterclockwise spin there. Now, again, it's going to be lifting north up towards the Carolinas here of the east coast of the United States. We'll eventually pull in a south wind, and we'll even get a little bit more rain for the Bahamas in general. Now, what has it brought? It's actually brought some pretty squally weather, and that's what I expect the remainder of today through at least portions of our Friday for the northwest Bahamas and the east coast of Florida. Squally weather, mainly some heavy downpours. There's been a few severe thunderstorms though, so of course watch out for the lightning threat. That will come with some winds again of 20 to 30 miles an hour with even some higher gusts from time to time, and that's obviously kicking up the sea conditions and some high surf, some of the islands, especially the east coast of Florida. So just pretty active weather here with this disturbance. Just a 10% chance of development as it again moves back up towards the north. Okay, we'll get out to the broad perspective for us here. And now we're gonna have a lot more to talk about with what's happening with this area. Now, this is one in the southwest Caribbean that's going to be moving back over Central America with a chance of actually developing into something tropical in the East Pacific. It's got a long way to go here. I've got to extend this all the way out here to see where the actual potential development area is from this active weather over Central America. But we mentioned it yesterday. It was bringing some really heavy rain to Panama and Costa Rica, and then on over towards Nicaragua and Honduras, and that will continue to build in from east to west. Now you get up towards, you know, the northern sides of Honduras and San Pedro Sula, La Chiva, over towards Roatan. It's scattered in nature, but we've had a few storms. Same thing for our friends here in Belize, a healthy thunderstorm or two developing. It's been more widely scattered, but again, some areas have gotten some decent rainfall, little 22-mile-an-hour wind gusts there in Belize City, and then up the road through the Yucatan, Quintana Roo, Cozumel, Cancun, an isolated shower storm, again developing here on this Thursday afternoon, but fairly isolated in nature. We'll have some scattered storms developing over Cuba again for today. It's a mainly dry forecast for the Cayman Islands. Again, the opportunity for an isolated shower to roll over places like Little Cayman, Cayman Brac, even Grand Cayman, it's a possibility again. So if this does develop in your area, by the way, good brief heavy downpour, so watch out for that. We've had a few storms for my friends in Jamaica for today as well. Fast moving, mainly on the western side of the island. Again, I'm going to pause this right before that lightning data goes away, and you can see some of the storms that developed again in the western areas. Cambridge, Falmouth on over towards Montego Bay, kind of the inland areas of St. James and Trelawney parishes. And this is all going to try and work its way off back towards the east across the island. So Ocho Rios and Port Maria, other areas like that, even Mandeville and Maypen in the opportunity zone. But again, not everyone is going to get this rain for today. We've talked about how hot and how humid it is in this area as well. So keep an eye out for that, because again, if you don't get the showers and storms, it's a steamy one. The feels like number in Kingston right now, still 108, but hit 110 or higher, which is 43.3 degrees Fahrenheit. On over to Hispaniola. Again, not as active today, but still some storms. You can see Santo Domingo with a few storms in that area as their temperature drops. Same thing for the Samana area. So scattered storms. Again, the axis of our tropical wave has moved off towards the west. We're going to slowly dry out in this area for at least a brief time, whereas as far as the storms go, it's a little bit more scattered in nature. That being said, we had some really hefty storms earlier for the northwest sides of Puerto Rico, actually prompted what we call a special weather statement there. And again, going to be keeping an eye on the opportunity for more storms to continue to develop, at least for a while. But there's that special weather statement for winds of 40 miles an hour. That was earlier in the afternoon, included places like Uti Alto and Aguadilla, and then again off kind of to the north and to the west. But what's really interesting is it's extremely area dependent, right? You've got feels like temperatures here that are 105 in some spots. Then you have a breeze of 25 miles an hour in San Juan, and those are the mixed numbers that you see. Obviously, the high numbers are your heat indices, and then the other ones are your gusts in miles per hour. Storms are relatively, benign as you get to the western Atlantic here, up towards Bermuda. It's been a quiet day there. Temperature for a feels like number in the lower 90s, but no real activity there. On over to our friends in the Leeward Islands, and again, we're in between tropical waves. Now, this is going to be a big story change starting tomorrow. But right now, the Saharan dust is coming into play, and feels like numbers in this area are mainly well above the triple digits. Going to switch over to the visible satellite imagery, just a little bit better perspective to show you where a few of those showers have tried to pull on. Now, you notice that everything is moving quickly from east to west. The trades have really kicked up in this area, and again, we'll be watching a tropical wave coming in beginning tomorrow. But again, a few showers in this area. A couple trying to skirt Guadalupe and Dominica as well. It's been a relatively dry day in Martinique. We've had a couple of showers trying to develop near St. Lucia, but generally speaking, we haven't had a lot of rain. Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, you get as far south as Trinidad. Now you're getting into an area that's had a few showers there. You can see that developing. How about our tropical wave? It's a little bit farther off towards our south, but even though the concentration of moisture is this far south in latitude, there is going to be a big slug of moisture coming in from east to west. This is going to really bring some good rain to this area. Some of the areas that desperately need that rain are our friends in the ABC Islands. Look at those feels like temperatures today for Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. So this is kind of the broad view of what's happening right now, friends. And again, the other area of interest is this tropical wave. But before we even get into the actual forecast, take a look at this puppy coming off of the west coast of Africa. Now again, it's going to be butting heads with a lot of Saharan dust that's going to be in play, but the fact that we are talking here as we kind of approach mid-July and we're looking at waves coming off of the West African coast, again, is extremely unusual. We take a look at the water vapor imagery, and you can just see how dry that the air is, especially north of these tropical waves. That's the Saharan dust coming into play, more plumes of that. And again, is it a shut-off valve for tropical activity? No, but is it a factor to diminish the chance? Absolutely. So before we get into the forecast, appreciate you guys liking this video, subscribing to Meteo Mundo if you want your latest forecasts across the Caribbean and the Bahamas, and of course the latest tropical updates. Thanks for sharing with your family and friends. Anyone think it's going to get anything out of this? Again, appreciate your support throughout the entire ways that you can find us. Okay, so now we're going to get into the forecast. Typically, I would hit a button and I'd get into the models and all would be good. Unfortunately, with my system today, there is a test tropical system that is inherent in all the layers. So if I were to do that, you would see an erroneous tropical system pop up in the Atlantic, and I don't want to show you that. So literally what I'm doing right now is I'm dropping off all of the layers, and you can see them just going off one by one. This is why I'm kind of literally stalling for time right now as I remove all of these layers. Let's get rid of the ship's data and the buoy data, and then we literally have ourselves a blank map. So now I'm going to bring on our models and we'll get into it, okay? So first one we're going to bring on is going to be the GFS rain. We'll look at that. We'll look at the GFS winds. We'll take a look at the NAM model as well. And then as we get up to the northern side of the Bahamas, look at the HER model. So all the different models for you guys. Again, it just takes a second for me to switch these layers. So with the GFS model, I've mentioned it the last couple of videos, it hasn't really handled the moisture coming in with the tropical waves as well as the NAM. But I do think it is a good handle with what's going to be happening in the Windward Islands with this next tropical system. Now again, this is not a disturbance. This should be a fast-moving wave that doesn't wrap up into anything. That being said, it's going to bring some gusty winds. It's going to kick up the surf and sea conditions and bring the potential for some heavy rainfall for a time. This will mainly be tomorrow and into early Saturday. So of course today is the 11th and we can see we've had a few showers, but here comes that slug of moisture for tomorrow. St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, Grenada, Trinidad, Tobago, Nueva Esparta, everything rolling off towards the west relatively quickly. Saturday is definitely the tent pole, as we call it, right? The high chance for rain. We'll still have a few showers here. Excuse me. Yes, Saturday, late Friday into Saturday, we'll have the highest chance for rain. And then as we move into the afternoon hours of Saturday and Sunday, we'll start to see that diminish. So again, one more time on this Thursday, we'll start to see the rain move in on Friday. We'll have the best chance then through early Saturday. And then at least a couple of scattered showers, but not nearly the concentration of rain late Saturday and into Sunday. Again, one of the areas that really could use this rain, the ABC Islands, you can see at least a few showers rolling there. Is it going to be a high chance? Not crazy high chance, but that opportunity. And it'll be the same situation here over places like Suriname and Guyana. Again, this tropical moisture will be slamming into the mainland, and we'll have a pretty hefty rain shot there. So that's where I want to talk about with the GFS model. I'm going to swing over to the NAM model here, and then we'll talk about the rest of the areas. So again, just going to pull out this model and loop it up, and it'll take just a second for it to pop on. But overall, I think the NAM just has a better idea of the fact that this moisture concentration is actually relatively significant, and that the entire Lesser Antilles will have a healthy chance for rain tomorrow into early on Saturday. And that axis of moisture will progress very quickly back off towards the west. So although it'll be a little bit drier tomorrow for the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic and Haiti, and I mean a lower chance but not zero, that moisture will quickly work its way back into the area for us here. And then all of that just moves from east to west throughout the remainder of the next 5 days. It'll fade a little bit in nature, but you get the idea here. So when we look at places from St. Lucia north, watch that rain move in. Again, same time frame on the NAM model. It's certainly concentrated for your Friday. Look for heavy downpours. Can't rule out a little bit of lightning to go along with it, but good chances for St. Lucia and Martinique and Dominica de Guadalupe. Certainly going to get some rain and rain chances for Montserrat and Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis and Saba, St. Bartholomew, St. Martin, Anguilla, all included in that. And again, your rain chance will fade a bit as we get towards the latter half of the weekend. May not be completely dry like the NAM shows, but certainly the axis of heaviest rain quickly works its way off towards the west. So for our friends in Puerto Rico, again, we'll dry out a bit even through most of our Friday, but the rain chances will begin to improve late Friday and into Saturday. Even St. Thomas, St. John, St. Croix will be included in that. Vieques as well, Culebra. You can see that rain passing by. And again, nice forward speed. Shouldn't stick in one area for too long, but heavy downpours, some cloud around lightning, and some gusty winds will all come along for the ride. And again, as we kind of fade into Sunday and Monday, that rain chance will go away. Same situation for our friends in the Dominican Republic. And again, higher rain chances now as we get this far west, kind of into Saturday, right? Kind of into Saturday, kind of into Sunday, where the rain chances become a little bit higher in those areas. So watch out for that here. You can see on our Saturday, the rain chance is now much more concentrated in these areas. And then all of this will try and eventually work its way off towards the west. How far it gets, we'll see. It's going to be butting into a little bit drier air as it gets into these areas like Jamaica and Cuba, places like that. So not expecting as much rainfall in that area, but at least the opportunity will be there, right? We'll have a few showers trying to hang on and bring some relief to places like Kingston and Negril and Georgetown there in the Cayman Islands. Now, what's going to be happening with this area in Central America? Again, I showed you that when you get this far into the forecast, that system is going to develop, if it does, well west of Central America. So it's all about the short term and just the heavier downpours. It is going to be more concentrated the farther south that you go. Panama, Costa Rica, on over towards Nicaragua. Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, Belize, scattered showers, and up towards the Yucatan, it's even a bit more isolated. So again, this system is not wrapping up near the Central American coastline, even the Pacific side. It's going to take some time to pull away. Still have the Central American gyre effect. And again, you can see as this moves away over the next few days, we'll pick up the opportunity for some development way out here, but nowhere near our area. Our friends in Bermuda will be enjoying a relatively quiet forecast here. Again, the system that's over the northwest Bahamas will kind of pull up the east coast of the United States. But at this point in time, the models aren't really showing direct impacts to that area. Now, as far as what's happening here, I'm going to switch on over to the HRRR model because again, it's just a little bit higher. It's a little bit higher resolution in this part of the country, this part of the world. So I can loop that up and we'll get a good idea and a feel for the Bahamas. First of all, there will be concentrations of rain, right? And especially in the northwest Bahamas. But some of this activity is going to be kind of ragged in nature and will eventually line up from north to south as the system pulls away, okay? So even though right now it's kind of spiraling around the southern periphery of that broad low, which doesn't really look like it's going to even try and wrap up. And again, you can see later tonight, some of the storms that I mentioned that are just exiting the east coast of Florida will try and march into Grand Bahama and Walker's Key and Bimini on over towards Abaco and Andros and New Providence and Eleuthera. Eventually, once the system moves north, the winds turn out of the south, and then this is when the central and the southeast Bahamas get a little bit better chance for some downpours. Again, it's not going to be extremely concentrated, so the rain chances are average at best, but there will be some heavier downpours, okay? And certainly some gusty winds that come along for the ride. So that's what it looks like with the rain. Let's talk about the fact again, and I just wanted to highlight this, okay? If you don't remember that just before landfall in the southwest Yucatan, while Beryl was causing all the problems it was causing, we actually had Tropical Storm Chris. So Debbie is the next named storm. Now again, out of everything I just showed you, I don't expect tropical development over the next 5 days. Don't expect it from here. I don't think we'll get it obviously in the Atlantic. That would be a Pacific named storm here. And then the tropical waves show no true signs of development, at least over the next 5 days. It will get more interesting down the road, especially with this one, but we're far enough away where we're not going to be having to talk about that, at least in the short-term forecast. Okay, so as we get into your rain chances, look, I love the interactivity here at Meteo Mundo. A lot of you have asked, Rusty, what about my area? Please include me. I hear you. And part of what I want to do is try and be as inclusive as I can while making these videos of a decent length, right? We don't want to get too long. Obviously, if I mention your area a lot, it's because you have active weather. And if I don't mention your area a lot in one video, it's because things are relatively quiet. But one thing I can do is obviously include more areas in these 3-day rainfall forecasts. And that's exactly what I've done. So we'll start off with the northwest and the southern and southeast Bahamas. Again, rain chances will be higher for the northwest Bahamas for tomorrow, then fade Saturday, and then we'll dry out on Sunday. Central and southeast Bahamas, again, not as much of a concentration with that tropical disturbance north, but eventually the tropical wave that'll be moving through the eastern Caribbean will actually keep the rain chances slightly higher on Sunday. You can see what that does for the Turks and the Caicos. Rain chances with that next tropical wave really go up, some on Saturday, but a lot higher on Sunday. Cuba will continue with a relatively active pattern, building to a 60% chance on Sunday. The Cayman Islands stay with more isolated showers and storms, but again, heavier downpours where they develop. Belize City, again, we've shut it off a little bit here. We're not talking about a 60-70% chance each day. We're in that 40% chance right on through the weekend. Cancun and Cozumel actually slightly drier. 30% chance Friday and Saturday. Again, Jamaica, just not a lot of rain overall. Again, there'll be pockets of heavier rain, but obviously the recovery efforts continue there, so we don't want a lot of storms. We want to cool things off. It's certainly a give and a take. We'll see a 30% chance Saturday, 40% chance on Sunday. Dominican Republic, a little bit lower chance tomorrow. Again, here comes our moisture with the wave on Saturday, so we'll kind of have a higher chance then, and then fade to a 40% chance on Sunday. As you go farther east, your rain chances will be higher with that wave earlier. So Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands will see a higher chance on Friday into Saturday early, and then tailing off quicker on Sunday. Again, relatively dry in Bermuda. Anguilla, good chance for some downpours the next few days. So some fairly active weather for the Leeward Islands. Still a 40% chance on Sunday. St. Kitts and Nevis has a relatively high chance for the next few days as well. Antigua Barbuda, 60% chance for tomorrow. Same thing for our friends in Montserrat. 50% chance on Saturday. Then again, as that axis moves away of moisture, we'll see the rain chances fade on Sunday. Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, all in about that same boat, guys. Again, 40 to a 50% chance for Friday and Saturday, lower chances on Sunday. Places like St. Lucia, again, could catch a little bit briefer shower on Sunday. As I'm looking at things, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, decent chance on Friday with a 60% chance. Same thing for Barbados. And again, some of this could lead to some excessive rainfall in choice locations. I don't expect it to be widespread, but it's a possibility. Grenada, 60% chance for tomorrow, still high on Saturday. Trinidad and Tobago, closer to that axis of moisture, stays just a little bit higher chance through our period. Suriname and Guyana, we'll have some really good rain chances the next few days. Still a 40% chance on Sunday. Nueva Esparta catches that tropical wave mainly late Friday on Saturday. And here's our chance for the ABC Islands. 40% chance on Saturday. Again, fingers crossed for an area that could desperately use some of those showers. Okay, let's talk about rain totals. Now, again, you're going to see that test system here because it's just simply easier on this particular graphic to wipe it away. Again, there is nothing out there. But this is the rainfall totals here. So I'm just going to go over to the model real quick and make sure that I have the proper time frame set up here. We're going to go out to, let's see here. Let me just switch something real quick for us here. Stick with me again because I don't have my normal presets. It's slightly different. Just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. Okay, so this is basically 5-day rainfall totals. What do you say we take this out actually to the evening of the 15th? Makes it kind of more of a full 5 days, doesn't it? So let's find that. All right, there we go. So again, accumulated rainfall totals. First of all, we've got a pretty healthy rainfall totals coming in here across the area, right? Is it exceptionally high? No, because that tropical wave is moving through quick. Does this model pick up on those areas that see those brief downpours and get an inch or two or 25 to 50 millimeters in an hour? No, not necessarily, because that model, again, the GFS, it's not the highest as far as resolution, so it's going to miss some of the spots with the highest rain. But is this a good average? Absolutely. So again, 1 to maybe 2 inches of rain around Trinidad. That's, anywhere from, again, 25 to 50 millimeters, but there'll be more. Same thing for our friends in Tobago and Grenada through St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Again, a quick ½ inch of rain, mainly Friday, early Saturday. Barbados is in on that. Again, higher totals are absolutely possible. Martinique, about the same thing. But you notice that everyone gets something. Then we'll see some 75, maybe even 100 millimeter totals in certain spots. But as we move around here, you'll see that the entire Lesser Antilles will have some showers. Notice that the model favors the eastern sides of the islands with those fast-moving waves, and you would expect that. So again, over places like Vieques and Culebra, nice little bullseye of over 3.5 inches in a couple of spots. St. Thomas, St. John, St. Croix in on that action, but can't rule out some heavier rain even on the western sides. You see Aguadilla there right around 2 inches. These kinds of totals will be very prominent through the rest of the Greater Antilles as well, okay? Again, pockets of 1 to 2 inches, but everyone gets some. It'll fade a bit in Jamaica. Again, we'll have a bullseye here or there, but will everyone get healthy totals? No. And in general, the Cayman Islands will kind of fall off in the same way. As we go through the Bahamas, this is going to be interesting because they're going to be so lined up and narrowed north to south bands as the system moves north, it is going to be very hard for the model to pick up on where those are going to develop. That being said, I agree with a higher concentration up here for Nassau and Andros Town and Marsh Harbor and Freeport and Walker's Key. Notice the concentration is even more farther up to the north, but everyone kind of gets in on that action. And again, down in Central America, here you go. Look at these rainfall totals here, mainly just offshore, but you get towards portions of, towards San Jose there, Costa Rica, Panama, and the eastern sides of Nicaragua and Honduras. That's your highest rain over the next 5 days. Still could be some good pockets, northern Honduras and Belize, and again, drier for Cancun and Cozumel, and they could use it. So solid rainfall totals with a fast-moving tropical wave in the area. Friends, you know you can find us across all of social media. I appreciate the support. A lot of you have found us on Instagram, especially TikTok. I appreciate that support. X, Facebook. Want to send me a picture or video? That's myMediaMundo@gmail.com. Of course, I'll keep you updated. I'll be back tomorrow with a weekend forecast, and I'll have the latest on those disturbances. We'll see what's happening with those. You have a great rest of your Thursday as we leave. Thank you for liking and subscribing. And friends, you know I'll see you soon, which is tomorrow, right here at Meteo Mundo.